This is, you want to stay above the bust, but it can be fairly low on the bodice because the lace and the cowl are going to cover that. So I'm going to drape a line first that looks good to my eye. And this is the same line that the yoke is going to join to later. It's probably going to be something about this thick. If you're doing muslin, if you're doing the lace piece, I'll probably cut my lace piece down quite a bit to fit in there. So you get a line that you like, and then on the side seam, do the same thing. I'm going to use my hip tape as my starting point, and then I'm going to come up just a little bit on the front, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches at the most higher, and then bring it back down again on the other side seam. Okay, and then I'll step back and take a look at that, see if I want to do maybe a little bit more, according to, otherwise it'll look like a mistake. If you do a design line that's not quite exaggerated enough, it'll look like a mistake. So you want to make it look intentional. And then once I get that tape at approximately the look that I want, I can put a few more pins in there just to secure the design line. A couple more. Okay, so that's just holding that into place. I'm gonna cut away a lot of this extra fabric that I no longer need. Give myself at least 1 inch. And then I'm gonna take with a pencil on one side and draw in these lines. Again, just reminder, always pencil, no markers or pens. I used pen to start it so you guys could see my lines, but, and then the same thing here. If you want to do both sides, that's fine, but we're not gonna accept differences. They're exactly the same on the mirror. Okay. All right. So the next step I want, if I'm doing the textbook method, it is this 16-inch piece, and what they're having you do is drape to this point, all right, and then to pull this a little bit so that you get a yoke sort of effect. And this seam here is going to sew to this seam. This piece is what the lace piece is. Now, in order for this to stand out for you more, what I'm gonna do with my lace piece here is I'm gonna drape this piece instead of the muslin so you can see it better, and also this is the effect we want. Now, in the book, if I had a piece of lace like this and I wanted it to be double, that's fine, but in my experience, when you double up lace, you can't make the lace match and it sort of loses the effect. So I'm only going to use a single finished lace piece. All right, if your lace doesn't have a finished edge like this, then you'd have to do some kind of a finish on it. But I still like the idea that it's a single instead of a double. So whichever method you choose to use is fine, but I'm going to use this lace piece here, and I'll find a nice spot with the scallop that's centered, and tape this into, or pin this into place. And then because I already have that black tape under there, I'm going to give myself a seam allowance. And then I'm gonna, for a minute, I'm gonna let this drop. Okay. The idea is the same with the piece, but I'm gonna just let this drop for a minute and cut away a 1/2 inch, a big 1/2 inch to this side of my tape. Now, I would use, for a production garment, this seam I would do at 1/4 inch. Just because it's sheer and lightweight and we don't need there's no stress on the seam. So I would sew that with a 1/4 inch seam. Okay. I don't think I need my tape anymore. Get rid of that. I'll pin these guys together. And again, you guys will take a little more time with this. I just will make it perfect after you start working so that I can get a good pattern. But you'll pin it into place until you get it exactly where you want it. Don't mind me, I'm just having fun. Okay. All right, so now I've got my lace piece and I'm ready to drape the cowl chiffon type piece. So I'm gonna take, I'll show you with the tape, although I'm gonna just draw the line in. Right here, no lower than this bust tape, I'm gonna bring in a line that would be my armhole. So if you wanna see it like that, right? And that would be, I could do it on one side or the other and transfer it. All right, so you wanna have your armhole there. That's the point at which I'm going to drape my chiffon piece. And this piece they gave us is not big enough, so I'm going to cut another one. I don't know what that 11-inch drape piece isn't big enough. I don't think. Stop the thing.